What happens if your EB-1A petition gets denied? What do you do then?
Fortunately, you have a few options if the EB-1 gets denied. They're not all great, but some are better than others. So the first instinct for clients is usually, oh, I want to appeal my decision. You can do that. You can appeal your decision. It's going to go to the appeals office, and the trend is not that great. So usually you have less than 6% for the AAO to overturn the denial. So that's really low. And you have to wait 8 months to 1 year. At one point, people were waiting up to 2 years, basically, to get a decision that reaffirms the denial. So I don't usually recommend appeal.
Okay.
The next option, and that depends on how strong your case is and how well that case is documented, it's suing the Department of Homeland Security and USCIS in federal court. It might sound scary, some people are scared to go against the government because they're afraid of retaliation. There's nothing scary about it. It is a process, and sometimes it actually works, especially in cases where you had a really strong case and USCIS denied it. So you can file with federal court, and what usually happens is if the case is really strong, they'll settle really quickly. So once you file the complaint, the government has 60 days to respond. And usually during those 60 days, they will settle. And they'll reopen the denial and then issue an approval. Sometimes they'll issue another RFE or notice of intent to deny. And then we just respond to that, and then they'll issue the approval.
Yeah. We're talking with one attorney that specializes in this, and he was mentioning that out of every single demand he's done, mostly 50% of them actually got approved with that initial complaint, like not even going to trial. And then of the ones that went to trial was also like a 50-50, right? So at least based on this one experienced attorney, the approval rates, again, based on what you said, right? If the case is strong, it's closer to whatever, 70-80% versus like 5 or 6, right? So
So you just have to make sure, that the case is really strong. The last thing you want to do is go to federal court with a, weak case or a case that hasn't been documented well with USCIS. But, it does work for some people.
Okay, so those are 2 options. What's the third one?
The third one is the easiest, I think. You just refile your case. So sometimes we wait for the denial. We see why USCIS didn't like your case. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes, maybe something was missing. Then we reassess, and then we advise the client that, they can just refile their case. Obviously, if there are gaps in the case, or now, by the time we got the denial, by the time we get ready to refile, if you have new evidence, if you've done other things, obviously now, the new filing will be stronger than the previous filing, so you probably will have better chance. One thing you don't want to do is refile immediately, because the likelihood of that case going to the same officer is pretty high. So they already denied you once, so you don't want to refile the next day. Usually give it 3 to 4 months, and then you can refile your case.
Yeah, and there's something about officers, right? Like USCIS is not as consistent, so perfectly possible that the same case, if it goes to Officer A, will get approved, and if it goes to Officer B, it will get denied.
Yeah, that's a true statement. And here it comes to, the personality of the officer, how they interpret the regulations. Some are more conservative in their approach, and some are more liberal in the way they interpret the regulations. So if different officer is looking at your case and, they're more liberal in the way they do their interpretations, you have a good chance that case is going to get approved.
So remember, there are many options here. If your case gets denied, just understand what they are so you can choose the best for you.